Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar, our Allison James Virtual Success Panel with Allison James agents Lisa Jeffers, Eddie Sanchez, and Michelle Bean. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that Allison James Estates and Homes is a nationwide brokerage which offers 100% commission, 100% support, and 0 franchise fees. Why split your commission if you don't need to? You earned it all, so shouldn't you keep it all? Today's webinar is sponsored by our preferred lender, Movement Mortgage. For more information about Allison James, please visit www.ajicareers.com. Let's go ahead and get started with today's topic. If you have any questions throughout today's presentation, please submit your questions into the chat box on your Zoom control panel, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. I'd like to say good morning to our speakers, starting with Lisa Jeffers. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, everybody.
So Lisa's going to talk about how she's been successful through these virtual times. Lisa, if you just kind of want to start out with an introduction of yourself.
Yeah, hi, welcome everybody. My name is Lisa Manley Jeffers. I work in the Northern California, Citrus Heights, Roseville, Sacramento, El Dorado Hills area, Elk Grove. And I was originally a realtor for 5 years in the Oklahoma area, and then have since gotten my license. I got it about 4 years ago when I moved back to California.
Perfect. And then do you just want to start out by telling us a little bit about what has made you successful during these virtual times? As everyone knows, COVID-19 has been a huge wake-up call for us when it comes to using virtual tools, and these agents have been able to obtain listings or sell homes using great virtual tools. So Lisa, can you talk about a little bit about what you did?
Sure. Well, the first thing I did, I've actually had 3 closings, one of which has happened today. One of the things that we did when I had a buyer, they had gone to the home for an open house before COVID-19 regulations were put in place. And then once we were in contract, I was able to go out and do the inspections and all of that for them. And pretty much that whole transaction was virtual. As far as listings went, I used a professional virtual tour company to photograph the listing. I absolutely love the company. They're called Virtuance. And so when the shelter in place was ordered, I had Virtuance take extra shots of the home, kind of invested a little bit more money into the photography, did more shots. I did some panoramic shots of the interiors, the house, the outdoor pool and kitchen area, so potential buyers could get a real feel for the property as if, they were walking through it themselves.
Perfect. And you said you use Virtuance, so yeah. Can you just talk a little bit more about how they do your virtual tours?
Yeah, so what they do is they take the individual photographs and then they link them together as if it's a virtual tour. It's, it's not like a video per se, but the photographs are linked and they put music in it and all of that. So Virtuance does a lot of really cool things, and I was going to actually kind of explain that as we went through with the questions. Well, one of the things they do is they do a personal property website for you, and I link all those to the various social media platforms. They do unbranded and branded tours, so there's a lot that they do to help promote your listing.
And when it comes to virtual tours, do you usually set a budget for yourself? How do you usually do that?
They are so reasonably priced. Normally if it's a smaller listing, I'll order maybe 10 to 15 photos. So, that might cost somewhere around $109 to $150. For this last listing that's closing today, I did up my budget. I spent about $300. Got quite a few photos. I even had Virtuance go out and do a reshoot for me because I wasn't happy with some of the pictures, and they reshot and then they did the panoramas. So all of that was a little bit more, but I was very, very pleased with it. So, even at the top, maybe $300, and this is a $573,000 listing. So it was well worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you had mentioned that after the virtual tour is made, you posted on social media. What social media platforms do you post on? And is there anything else you do with the virtual tour after Virtuance creates it for you?
So of course, the photos in the unbranded virtual tour posted on the local MLS, which is Metro List here. And then the branded tour is posted on a variety of social media platforms, such as Facebook. I have my personal Facebook. I have a business page Facebook, which don't look at my business page because I'm still working on that. I've got posted on Instagram, YouTube, which I'm also working on that, my YouTube channel. And then Virtuance posts on realtor.com, which is a nice little extra that they do. They also they create a property website for the listing. So those property websites are all promoted on all of those different platforms as well.
Got it. And then, as we all know, showing home procedures changed during the COVID-19 times. What was your procedure when it came to showing homes?
Well, the first thing I did was call my broker, Ryan. If you're out there listening, Ryan, hi. Because I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I mean, this listing went live almost right after we did the shelter in place. So I ended up putting into practice practices that have ended up becoming, very standard in our market right now. All appointments for the showings had to be made at least 2 hours in advance. That gave me time to I would have the buyer's agent review the virtual tour with the client. And then if they wanted to continue, if they still were interested, I asked for a pre-approval letter and the PED. And then at the appointment, I provided booties, gloves, and antibacterial gel. And I also asked the buyer's agent to provide masks to their clients. And then after the showing, the seller was instructed to disinfect everything. And those things are all totally standard now, but back when the COVID-19 thing first came out, we were all trying to figure out how to think outside the box, what we could do to protect our sellers, the buyers, etc.
Perfect, love it. And how else did you promote your listing since showings were limited?
Well, so there's a couple things. Normally I don't use flyer boxes anymore, but I did because, obviously it was harder to get into the home. So I went ahead and did very nice brochures instead of flyers, put them out on the curb so people can grab those. I did 2 Facebook Live events. And I posted those on my personal and business Facebook page. And then I also advertised them on the city's Facebook event page. So yeah, it was just kind of a Facebook Live event, question and answer walkthrough of the home. I actually did go to the home myself. That was after we were allowed to do so. But honestly, I don't feel like showings were that limited because we had so many procedures in place that sort of vetted the serious buyer from the looky-loo. So I don't feel, as far as showings, that impacted my business that much.
Okay, perfect. And then lastly, what other insight can you provide to us when it comes to using virtual tours?
Well, I'm going to sound like a walking ad for Virtuance. And I'm sorry about that, but honestly, after seeing so many other options that are out there, and I used to be with another company that used Matterport, which I do love Matterport. For the price that I pay, I feel like Virtuance gives me so much. So they don't know I'm doing this, but if any of you that are listening want to try them out, I'm sure that they will give you a promo code, and just please tell them that Lisa Jeffers mentioned, and maybe they'll give me a freebie or something.
Perfect. There's actually another agent who just chatted saying Virtuance is a great photography company. So
oh, good.
There is someone else in here who uses Virtuance as well. So she's vouching.
That's great. That's great. Good to know.
Perfect, Lisa. Well, thanks for sharing your insights of virtual tours, and thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Someone chatted that Virtuance will give you 15% off to try.
There you go.
There we
That's
go.
awesome.
Answers. So now I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Eddie Sanchez. Eddie, how are you?
Oh, how are you?
I'm great. So do you just kind of want to introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and a little bit of your real estate background?
Sure. My name's Eddie Sanchez. I was born in actually Turlock, California. Grew up most of my life in Modesto. A lot of my real estate background comes from my dad. My dad was, or still is a real estate broker. He's 81, he'll be 82 years old. He started in real estate in 1973, and I kind of grown up in real estate all my life. It was like back in 2000, I believe, 2002, where I started hanging around more at my dad's office, going over disclosures and going over paperwork, and actually did a lot of pest. He would have the pest inspections, and you know, I would look at the pest reports, and I could read the pest report, and I can, you know, I'd go out there and do the work on the weekend, and I would charge the client like half price and end up making, you know, a couple $1,000s on a Saturday. And I just got interested in real estate and really liked it. And you know, after a few years, I was on a 50-50 commission with my dad because I love him so much. But you know, I had to look at a different company. I had to look at something that, you know, a venue that was going to pay me more or allow me to make more or keep more of my money. So started with Allison James Estates and Homes about 6 years ago, I believe. And really just yeah, I'm just really thankful to work with Allison James. It's a great company, and that's kind of how I got started.
Perfect. So as we all know, we're talking about virtual tools today. How were you successful during the virtual times?
Well, during the virtual times, you know, talking with my real estate coach, he really said, you know, we have to capitalize on these times, on these virtual times, because a lot of people, as we know, we're home or, you know, not working. And I feel that there are fewer agents. There's fewer agents out there, and those that are out there, you have to be virtual. You have to. I've been coaching now for 3 years, and they've been preaching to us video for the past 3 years. So we've already known that video was the way to go, and by implementing that video, especially during the COVID lockdown and everything, it's just been very, very successful.
Perfect. And I know you have a little piece of your video that you wanted to share. Do you want to go ahead and share that with us? I can give you control of the screen if you want to do that now.
Okay, let me go ahead and can you see it?
Not yet. I don't see anything.
Oh, let me hit this button here. How about now?
There we go. Now we got
kind of blurry. So it just starts out, I don't know if you can hear it as well.
Smells great if you don't have allergies. Hey guys, this is Eddie Sanchez, your local realtor with Allison James, Estates and Homes. Just wanted to welcome you to this fabulous house. Let me see if I can get myself in here. Hey guys, just want to say hi. I'm going to share this house with you. It's a great home here in Riverbank, California. We have it listed at $379,500. I'm going to go ahead and take you on a tour. Should last just about a few minutes. I appreciate you guys for watching.
Okay, so I'm going to speed it up because, yeah, I posted this video on Facebook Live, and you know, a couple things that you look out for when you're going through a house is that you know, you got to get there early and really navigate through the area before you start filming, because a lot of people don't know, but in that backyard right there, they had a big dog. There was dog poop all over the yard. I know that sounds crazy, but I had to really watch my step and, you know, get in there and make it. But this is what I wanted to show you, because there was some subtleties here that I said, and you'll catch it when I talk about the den. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Great. I'm going to move over here and pan this living room. Check out this living room. I'm actually going to get up here on the stairwell so you can see this living room. Move this down. Great living room here. Check this out. Right.
So as you can see, I'm just like filming and I'm actually adjusting it. Hey, I'm going to move this down, and I'm talking about it. I know it's not the best video that you may have seen. It's not like Hollywood type production, but my real estate coach has really encouraged me. He says, you know what, done is better than perfect. Get it done, get it out there. Don't waste time. He goes, even if you waste, you know, 2, 3, 4 days a week getting something in production, it could cost you.
Lives here. Only reason why he's selling is he wants to downsize. He's tired of having such a big home and you know, lives alone. So he decided to make a bigger home. This is another side room. It's good sized room here. And it's got double doors. This would be a great room to make into an office or a den.
Okay, so that's where I was going to end it. Right about there, though. You can go ahead and put me back. You can end the screen there. Thank you, Tori, for that. But
Yeah.
that, by me saying that that would make a great office or den, the buyer, I actually boosted this video out on Zillow as well. And I'm a premier agent with Zillow as well. But the buyer called me directly, said, we saw the house, we want to work with you, we love it. My wife wants to see that downstairs bedroom that you said could make an office or a den because she does nails. And by me just, giving that little suggestion that it can be an office or den really just sparked their interest. And in fact, we closed escrow on that one today. So
awesome. Now, I know you said with that one you went live. Do you usually prepare a script when you do videos or go live, or do you just kind of wing it?
Well, I do rehearse. I do a out loud, a dry run rehearsal before I go live. So I'll get there early, 30 minutes before I'm going to do the live, if I have it scheduled, on Facebook, and I'll kind of walk through the house and map out, because this whole live here was 12 minutes, but I'll actually map out where I'm going to go with it until people start chiming in. And actually on this video, somebody said, hey, can we see the kitchen again? So you got to be aware of what you're, on the screen, so you can get back to the person and show them, the kitchen or whoever. But I rehearse it, and I go through it. I kind of do like a role play per se with myself to prepare for the virtual tour or the live virtual showing.
Got it. And then I know you were saying, I'm assuming you use your phone when creating these videos, since you're doing, well, with this one you did a Facebook Live, so you used your phone, I'm assuming?
Yes. I did. A lot of the phones out there nowadays are great. They have great cameras. I went and invested in the newest iPhone Pro Max with the 3 cameras. It's phenomenal. It does everything for me. But what I also use, it was very inexpensive, is a gimbal. I bought the Zion Smooth 4, I believe it's called. It's an image stabilizer gimbal. So your iPhone just sits right in it, and it makes the video so smooth. So it's not all jumpy, because I've seen videos in the past that are really jumpy and stuff, and they just make me sick. So, so at least I wanted to keep it kind of smooth. But yeah, I use my cell phone and just a really inexpensive gimbal. I think the gimbal I might have paid $169 for it, but it's paid itself off 10 times over.
Yeah, definitely. And then do you go through every single room, or do you just try and touch on the main areas?
No, I will. I make a point to go through just about every area of the home, because I want the consumer to feel like they're there, like they're walking through the house with me. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to bore anybody, so I just keep moving on to the next room and just try to keep it moving, keep it flowing, keep it smooth.
Definitely. And then as you go through each room, do you describe the room, or is it more of just a present and show and let people think what they want about the room without you saying much?
Yeah, I do describe it exactly like this video I just showed here. Even though the room is messy and the bed was messy and there's outlet covers missing, but again, my real estate coach says done is better than perfect. And I go through Tom Ferry real estate coaching, but done is better than perfect. So I could have took my time and said, oh, we got to paint this room, we got to make this bed, but I just wanted to go through it, describe what the highest and best use of this bedroom could be: an office, a den. And then I went on to say a downstairs bedroom for your parents. There's a bathroom here with a full shower. So I did that in that particular video, but I also, prior to, I'll take measurements. I'll measure each room. And if the room is, let's say, 14 feet by 18 feet, then when I go back into that room, I'm going to say, wow, this is a large room. Because just by me saying, oh, this is a large room, they're like, well, how big is it? It can't really see. But if I say, wow, this is a large room, it's actually 14 by 18 feet long. And they're like, they can actually get a visual, okay, 14 by 18, and they multiply that. I forget what the square footage is on that, but it's, gives them they can actually get an understanding of how big the room, actually is.
Definitely. And exactly what you're saying. Your coach said, just do it, even if it's not the greatest, and it worked. I mean, it worked for you. So that's great. And then did you always go Did you go live for your listings before the whole COVID-19, or is this something new that you just started doing?
No, we've been doing video. I've been doing video for 2-3 years. But the lives, yes, have just been recently. But through the coaching I go through, they've been really pushing video for the past 3 years or so, and getting YouTube videos out there, getting marketing videos and listing videos. But since the pandemic started, now everybody's that's active in real estate, most people are already resorting to video, moving over to video, and getting started in that. So because most consumers these days, almost 99.9%, I don't know of anybody who wouldn't, but almost every single consumer is going to go online, and they're going to say, I want to buy a house. They're going to go on Zillow. They're going to go on Trulia. They're going to go on realtor.com or whatever, and they're going to look for a house, and they want to see pictures and they want to see videos. So, I mean, video marketing is the future.
Definitely. Well, thanks, Eddie, for your insight, and thanks for sharing that little snippet of your video as well. And congratulations on your closing today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to go ahead and move on. Michelle Bean is going to be our last and final speaker. Hello, Michelle.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good. How is everybody?
We're all doing good. If you don't mind just kind of telling us about yourself, where you're from, and a little bit of your background in real estate.
A little 411 on me? Sure. I have been in real estate for about 10 years. I've been with Allison James for about 8 of those years. My family has been in real estate, commercial and residential, in the La Jolla, San Diego, Coronado area for 40 years. I got in when my boys were old enough for me to kind of be more independent and let them be more independent, but I have enjoyed doing that. I started on Trulia leads back in, 2012. So that's a little bit. My background is in investor flips and rehabs, and worked a lot with the REO bank owns and short sales back in the day when the market had crashed. And that was kind of my boot camp into real estate until the market stabilized, in that 2015, 2016 time.
Perfect. And tell us a little bit about how you've been successful, what you've used during this pandemic and virtual times.
I think, overall, I believe in preparing the home. Show shape is the best shape of the home. Using the virtual tours has just been an added element to that. Bringing the home to the buyer from their home. Like Eddie had mentioned, 99% of home buyers are going to start that search online, and they could start that search for a month or two, but the fact of having that house show shape ready and having the virtual tours come in to provide a picture of what that house can look like in person to get them in that door is key. I had 2 listings. Of course, everybody's swamped right now and busy. If they are on market, they're going pretty quickly. The 2 that I had recently, a couple weeks ago, they were buyers from Virginia and Washington State, sight unseen offers, which was a great asset, and the buyer and the seller were both happy, and the virtual tours did the trick for both of those. They got a good idea, and we used Matterport like Lisa had mentioned. I like the Matterport functionality of it, the 360 touring for the buyers to be able to go onto their screen and move around in a 360 circle. It also has a dollhouse effect floor plan that you can also utilize, which is also helpful for the buyers when they're looking to see what that floor plan and flow is.
Yeah, and I know you're big on using a professional. You think it's very worth using a professional for your virtual tours, correct? Yeah.
Absolutely. And I will be the first to tell you, full disclosure, everybody, I didn't used to use a professional. Years ago, I thought, oh, I can do this. I can shoot that angle. But ultimately, it comes down to lighting, angles, and the technology that these professionals use, bar none. I'm going to let them handle it now, and it's worth my time and money, and I'm in and out of there. And so are they. I do work with them closely on most of my listings. I like to be hands-on. But I feel if I look back to anything even just 4 years ago compared to what I'm doing now, I just feel like it's a benefit to the client, and they want to see that. They want to see that professional, clean video and pictures.
Definitely. And do you set yourself a budget when you use virtual tours?
It depends on the property. It really does. It depends on the property. If you're, working with a $1.6 million or a 300,000, it just depends on the property. How many photos do I need? How large the property is. It isn't even at price point at that level. It's just what's the size of the property. But I do kind of keep it anywhere from $150 to $500, somewhere in that range. I haven't gone above that. So I would say just in those price points is where it's usually you can get a lot for your money. Video tours, the dollhouse floor plans, the Matterport, and then obviously the pictures. 35 to 40 pictures is what I usually like to have, and then we'll kind of scale it from there.
Perfect. And then once you have your virtual tour ready to go, what resources do you use to promote it?
Obviously social media, it's key. It definitely is key. E-blasts, Instagram, Facebook, all of those are on my, I'll put those on my real estate page, and then I'll e-blast those out. That generally is the route that I like to take, and social media obviously is key.
Definitely. We are big on social media here.
Yeah, I know,
Yes.
Jessica.
Even, I think you might have answered this, but I want to ask again. Even outside of COVID-19, are virtual tours valuable in your opinion?
Absolutely. They're a necessity. I mean, it's just the world we live in right now. Before COVID, after COVID, everybody should be really embracing it. It's just the best way to promote the property. And I cannot express to you enough, having that property show shape ready. It's a first impression. It's like, show shape. It's like a first date. You have to have that property ready to be presented to those buyers. You only get one chance to make a first impression. And that's kind of been my niche for a long time. It's just my business model. It's just making sure it's ready, and virtual tours is a part of that.
Perfect. And what other insight can you provide to us when it comes to using virtual tours?
As far as using them or utilizing them, I just feel it's a benefit. The seller really likes seeing that their house is being promoted. They're proud of it. And it also, I think, in my eyes, when the property's prepared properly, and then you have that virtual tour look really great online and on the websites, it sells, I think, faster, and I think it sells higher in value than most of the other homes that aren't having the same type of marketing strategies that we're doing, at Allison James.
Definitely. All right. Well, thanks, Michelle, for sharing
Welcome.
with us. And that's what we have for today. So I do want to just go ahead and thank Lisa, Michelle, and Eddie for joining us today. 3 different kinds of agents, 3 different ways to promote your listings, and all of them were successful. So perfect. So I am going to go ahead and wrap up with today. Again, thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us. I hope you found this as valuable as I did. And again, I can't express enough how thankful we are for Michelle, Lisa, and Eddie, and to have them a part of the Allison James family as well. So thanks for helping with this month's webinar and giving us a great presentation and insight. I hope everyone has a great day, a great rest of your week, and we hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.